Hello, good day or good afternoon, everyone. So, this video discussion was intended to para ano lang, yung pagkukulang ng mga hindi natapos na topic natin. So, we are going to discuss about punishment, sentencing, and rehabilitation kasi sa syllabus natin pasok po siya sa midterm, so dapat need talaga nating habulin. So punta tayo dun sa part na kailangan nating i-discuss kasi kasali talaga ito sa ating midterm examination. So we have chapter 7, the punishment, sentencing, and rehabilitation. So it was being defined here what is penology. So dito makikita ko sa laptop, we have my PPT. Naka-screen po tayo. Sabi po dyan, penology is a multidisciplinary subject that aims to study and evaluate the application of penal sanction to wrongdoers. So tatandaan po natin, pag sinabi nating makasulat ba? Ayun, makakasulat na. Tatandaan natin, it is subject, nakalagay dyan, study, to evaluate, paano ba na ibibigay yung mga penal. Pag sinabi nating penal class, it refers to punishment that we have onto our, binibigay ng ating mga na the government itself to those nakagawa ng kamalian. Okay? Na-prove sila as a guilty person. Sabi dyan, it focuses on the justification, characteristics, and effectiveness of penal institutions. So, yung sinabi dyan, nakadepende kung anong klaseng institution meron tayo on how are we going to give effectiveness in line in giving penalties, kasi makikita natin magiging effective yung penalty natin if nalilesen yung criminality within the society. So, tatandaan po natin, pag sinabing penology, it is the study of punishment. And, hindi lang po sinabing study of punishment, lagay din natin dito na how criminals, we are going to consider the criminals are treated. Hindi lang tayo basta-basta magbibigay ng punishment, but we are going to consider paano natin maaayos, or pag sinabing treated, maayos yung behavior ng taong nasa loob mismo ng ating tinatawag natin na institution. Example, we have the BJMP, at yung mga nasa jail natin, okay, sa presuhan. Okay, those are the example. So, treated. And at the same time, yung tinatawag natin na rehabilitation. We have different rehabilitation program given to our convicted person. So, next we have, okay, the keyword nyo lang class ha, tatandaan pag sinabing penology, it is the study of punishment and how are we going to treat those person na nasa loob po ng kulungan. Next, we have the Code of Hammurabi. So, nakalagay dito, the Code of Hammurabi, ito yung batas. Batas dati na sinusunod, yung tinatawag na Lex Talionis. Very famous po yan. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Amo nang ginashambal nilang the earliest written law na sinusunod based on kay King Hammurabi, kasi tinawag na Code of Hammurabi kasi base siya kay King Hammurabi of Babylon based on our history. So pag sinabing Lex Talionis, remember the definition, ang ibig sabihin po niyan as an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. So ano pong ibig sabihin yan? It means that punishment should be equal. Pag sinabi natin dito, ulitin ko, punishment should be equal. Ma'am, pag sinabi po nating equal, ito yung sinasabi na kung ano yung ginawa mo sa tao, yun din ang gagawin sa iyo. Ito yung sinabi natin dati na pag nagnakaw ka, puputulan ka ng kamay. Pag pumatay ka, papatayin ka. Yun ang magiging example natin. Kasi sa definition na an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, kung ano yung ginawa siya, the punishments should be equal on what kind of action na nagawa mo towards other people. So, ang similarity to the harm caused. So, example niyan, kanina nabanggit natin, nagnakaw ka, puputulan ka ng kamay. So, it means, kumbaga, from the word na retribution, doga panimalos ka. Kumbaga, dito papasok ang equal retaliation. Retaliation. Okay, the spelling is retaliation or yung tinatawag natin na equal punishment. So, ngayon, sa panahon natin, hindi na po ito applicable. Yung tinatawag natin, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Yung keyword natin dito, pag sinabi natin Code of Hammurabi, dadagdagan ko lang class, the punishment should be, match. Pag sinabi nating match, kumbaga equal ba to the harm committed. Yan, lagay natin. Kung anong ginawa sa'yo, yun din ang ibibigay sa'yo. Next, I hope you understand. We have a different mga example dito ng before, mga sinusunod natin. We had the banishment. Tatandaan nyo lang pag sinabi nating banishment, kumbaga mawawala ka dapat sa isang lugar. From the word banished, this was practiced during the ancient times where an offender was forced to leave. Your keyword. Okay, papaalisan ka. For example, dito ka nakagawa sa Coronado City, papaalisin ka dito. Nakadepende po yan kung saang lugar ka lang pwedeng pumunta. And within the community, permanently or it can be temporarily. Yung tatandaan natin sa banishment. We have also the beheading. This type of punishment involves cutting off the head. Keyword yun lang, beheading, puputulan ka ng ulo with the use of sword or an axe. Next, birching, a punishment that meant beating a person across the backside with the twigs. Yung ginawa kay Papa Jesus before, yung pinapalo yung likuran ni Papa Jesus, pinapalo, yung merong hinahampas sa likuran. That's an example of birching. Yan, beating a person across the backside with twigs. Yan ang magiging keyword ninyo, class. Next, we have the boiling. Boiling alive. Ito yung pinaka-harsh na punishment before. Hello po. Bakit? Anong ginagawa? Papakuluan ka ng buhay. Yan, tatandaan nyo lang yan. So, very cruel in line with this kind of punishment before. Ito yung mga example natin ng mga cruel punishment. Next, we have the branding. Considered as an old punishment in England, method of branding people with use of red hot irons. Alam niyo yung ginagawa sa baka, yung parang tatatakan yung baka. Before, kung ano yung nagawa mong krimen, parang certain na mainit yung bakal, then itatatak sa, halimbawa, sa noo mo to identify you as a criminal. So, branding, kumbaga, binibigyan ka ng brand. Yung ginagawa nila yun before. So, using red hot irons. Kumbaga, dito masasabi, welcome back, Ma'am Tess. Hello po. Next, we have the breaking on the wheel. Ito yung the person punished was tied to a wheel. Ganito. Kita yung wheel. Imagine lang, para yung malaking bakal na gulong. Then, itatali ka doon. Then, at the same time, and the executioner then use an iron bar or hammer to break each arm and leg in several places. So, babaliin ng paunti-unti. Pwedeng paikutin yung wheel hanggang sa mabali yung mga buto mo as a person na nandoon nakatali sa wheel. So, example po yan ng breaking on the wheel. Ito namang number 7 natin, ang pinaka-harsh natin, class. We have burning. Susunugin ka ng buhay. Okay? Applicable lang daw ito before, sabi dyan, pag ang kasalanan mo ay a woman found guilty of murdering their husband. Pag pinatay mo yung asawa mo before, ito din yung punishment. Burning. Crank. Number 8, a type of punishment that was applied in British. It was very prison hard to 200 times before they could eat. Ito yung example ng crank. Nasa loob ka na ng kulungan. Ano yung ginagawa mo sa kulungan? Papaikutin mo lang yung wheel. Papaikutin, matigas siya na wheel or handle 1,000 times. Hindi ka papatigilin hanggat hindi ka mapapagod. Then, ang magiging reward mo pag natapos mo na yun 1,000 times, papakainin ka na. Yon, example po yan ng ating crank. Next, we have the crucifixion. Ito yung parang ginawa sa ating Papa Jesus, yung ipapako ka sa cross. Yan. Person carried beam cross. His or her arms are tied or nailed. Yan. So, kung maka-imagine nyo, nakita yung movie, same kay Papa Jesus, so ito po yung makikita natin. We have the last, it's not last. Number 10, drowning. Understandable po yan, yung lulunurin ka. Next, we have the electric chair. Very common din. I know, nakikita nyo ito sa mga movies natin before. Then, number 12, we have the fines. Ito, pagmumultahin ka. So, yung pagmumulta pala na meron tayo ngayon is not bago na pala. Kasi nagagawa na din before. Next, we have number 13, the firing squad. So, tatandaan nyo lang yung mga keyword dito, class, ha? Firing squad. Okay, sinabing firing squad, papipilahin kayo dyan, lahat kayo ng kriminal, tapos babarilin kayo ng sabay-sabay. Next, flogging. This was common form. This was also flagging. Ito din yung parang punishment sa ng army or ng mga military. Yung papaluin or something merong ipapalo sa inyo, flagging. Next, garroting. Ito sa form of what? Strangulation. Strangulation often carried out using a metal collar. If you can imagine, yung collar ng aso, i-imagine nyo lang na para siyang na metal. Then yan ang ipapasok sa liig mo. Then, that metal, sisikip siya ng sisikip. Then, yung metal na yon, meron yung patusok papunta. So, habang pasikip siya ng pasikip, so, it means, nang ginambal na daw makuga ka. So, pero at the same time, merong tumutusok. Yun po ang sinasabi nating garroting. Next, we have hanging. Okay. Where criminals stood on the ladder. Uso ito sa mga movies, itong pinapanood natin, yung tatayo ka sa ladder, tapos hihilahin ng bigla. Tapos ngayon, maghahang ka na. Next, we have hard labor. Pag sinabing hard labor, ito yung keyword. Hard physical work aside. Next, prison. Ito yung pagkakakulong. So, applicable naman pala based on our before punishment as a form of punishment. Next, we have the transportation. Ito yung makikita natin na ililipat-lipat kayo bilang isang prisoner, dadalhin kayo sa ibang lugar. Pwede doon kayo magkakaroon ng hard labor. Pag sinabi natin hard labor, yung pagsisilbihan niyo kung sino man yung tao ang ginapa-required na dapat yung pagsilbihan. Next, I hope you understand. We have 20 forms of 20 forms of punishment before based on our history, which is we can consider as a retribution, as a part of retributive aspect. Next, we have the goals of punishment. Okay, pag sinabi natin goal, bakit ba merong punishment? What will be the purpose? Pag sinabi natin, ganon. As we have number 1, the retribution. So, discuss natin yung retribution kanina. We have the belief that criminals deserve to be punished as a repayment for their misdeeds is one of the oldest reactions to wrongdoing. So, nabanggit na dito yung kanina yung lex talionis, yung an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. So, ano nga yung ibig sabihin nun? Na yung punishment must be equal to the harm committed to a certain person. Equal, tatandaan niyo yan. Next, number 2, we have deterrence. So, anong meron dito sa deterrence based on our PPT? Sinabi dyan, pag sinabi natin retribution, kumbaga, magre-react siya kung ano yung nagawa mo before. So, it means it is reactive. Kumbaga, tapos na. Halimbawa, si Ma'am Disoyo, nakapatay before, na-identify, then ngayon, pagpapasok natin sa retribution, possibly, papatayin din ako based on the lex talionis. But in line with deterrence is a certain of proactive. Tandaan niyo class ha, para siyang proactive. Ano bang pinagkaiba ng proactive sa reactive? Reactive, magbibigay lang sila ng punishment if meron kang nagawa na. Deterrence is given or kumbaga na ibibigay siya in line with the proactive term para mas maiwasan pa yung future future criminalities, future activities which is illegal para malimit ka. Kasi deterrence, based on the definition given, deterrence aims to prevent, keyword nyo class, aims to prevent future criminal behavior. So nakikita nyo, based sa definition dyan sa screen natin, that is retribution can be considered reactive. So dito nabanggit, while deterrence is proactive. So, if we are going to elaborate, deterrence is all about you are going to punish offenders. You are going to punish the offender para ano? Ang point niya is to discourage. Pag sinabi nating discourage, kumbaga daw, ilimit ka ba? Uy, nakita ko yung tao. Binigyan siya ng punishment. Napaka-harsh yung punishment. So, parang ako, mafe-feel ko na hindi ko din gagawin yun. It is because, madi-discourage ang ibang tao in line with committing those crime they are planning to. Okay, hi, Ma'am Batch. Okay, hi po. Sarap makinig dito. So, we have, patuloy natin, again, uulitin ko, bakit nagkakaroon ng deterrence? Deter, from the word i-deter ka, diba? Ililimit ka, iko-control ka. Ano ang ginakontrol sa imo? Nga makakommit ka sang crime in the future, in line with the punishment. So, ano yung magiging example dito? May dalawa kasi tayong example na deterrence. We have the specific and general deterrence. Tandaan natin yun para mas lalo nating maintindihan. Sabi dito sa specific class, specific deterrence is directed toward, pag sinabi natin directed toward the individual offender, kung sino yung gumawa, siya yung mismong makakasuffer ng effect. Ganon, pag sinabing specific, ako yung gumawa, ako yung magsasuffer ng effect ng punishment, which is kapalit ng ginawa kong kamalian, which is the illegalities. So, sabi dito, the rationale is that by making the punishment sufficiently unpleasant. So, dapat daw, pag magbibigay tayo ng punishment, it should be unpleasant. Yung hindi talaga kaaya-aya. Bakit? Para, yung magiging effect nito within the society is, kumbaga matatakot. That is why natawag siyang deterrence. Sabi din dito, the offender will be discouraged from committing violation in the future. Keyword lang ang pinagkaiba. Specific, sino ang nabibigyan ng punishment? The criminal itself. Ako, for example. Sino ang magsasuffer ng effect or nung shame, kumbaga kahihiyan? Ako din mismo. Then, sino yung madideter? Ako din mismo kasi ako yung naka-experience ng punishment. Next, we have the general deterrence. From the word itself, general. Kumbaga nakikita ka ng ibang tao. It means it was designed to use the offender. Kumbaga, ginamit ako. Parang ikaw, ginamit ka lang niya. Hindi po. Pag sinabi po natin general deterrence, gagamitin natin yung mismong kriminal to be the example towards other. Bakit nagiging example? Halimbawa, bibigyan ako ng punishment. And the purpose of the general deterrence is to make other people na matatakot sila. Okay? Kanina sa specific, tatandaan natin specific, ikaw yung nabigyan ng punishment, of course. Ikaw nagsuffer, then ikaw din mismo ang madideter. That is why specific, matatakot na gumawa ng rape ako before, for example. Dahil ako yung naka-experience, hindi ko nagagawin. Perfect attendance po siguro. Di mo sure. Pag sinabi naman ng general, kumbaga ginamit ako para maging example sa ibang tao na matakot sila na gawin yung mga possible illegal activities which is punishable. Yun po. So I hope it is a video recorded only pero naka-live po tayo. I hope naintindihan si deterrence. From the word deter, bibigyan ka ng punishment to discourage other people and you also as the person who commit para hindi ka nagagawa ulit. Then, we have two types of deterrence, specific and general. Specific, ikaw mismo ang malilimit, madi-discourage. General, possibly, it can include other people na sila din ay madi-discourage dahil sa nakita nila na punishment na binigay sa'yo. Next, we have the, ano bang next dito sa PPT? Incapacitation. Yes, we have the incapacitation. Sabi sa definition ng incapacitation, if retribution is viewed as reactive and deterrence is proactive, so gi-differentiate. It could be characterized as something in between or perhaps in combination of both. So, pag sinabing incapacitation, it was being defined on the definition na para daw siyang gipag-combine na retribution and deterrence. So, how are we going to elaborate this? Sabi dito, incapacitation is probably the most pragmatic of the correctional goal. It does not specifically seek to prevent future crimes, deter potential criminals, or change behavior. So, anong pinagpo-focusan niya? It simply focuses on constraining offenders in an effort to curtail their opportunities to commit additional crimes. Incapacitation. You are being incapacitated. Minsan may tinatawag tayo na you are incapacitated. Kumbaga wala kang ability to do something. In line with this, in punishment, kumbaga bibigyan ka ng incapacitation para malimit yung future crimes mo. So again, uulitin ko, baka nalilito. Incapacitation means, lagay natin dito, nare-restrict yung ability mo ba, yung abilidad mo para gumawa, di ba, magaling ka sa ganito, magaling kang magnakaw. So, i-restrict ngayon, ililimit. Lagay natin dito, limiting. An offenders, ano ba yung nalilimit natin pag nare-restrict natin yung tao? Di ba, the freedom to do something. Okay? Tatandaan, incapacitation, you are restricting, nalilimit ang freedom ng isang tao, yes, the ability to do something, the capacity to do something in line with his or her freedom. So, tatandaan natin yan. So, paano ba natin malilimit yan if we are going to connect sa atin topic na punishment? Yung paglagay sa kulungan ng tao na found guilty for a certain crime is an example of incapacitation. Bakit? Nasa loob ka ng kulungan, less opportunity, and at the same time, binabantayan ka ng ibang tao doon. So, it means, kumbaga, the freedom, di na lang kumaglasi mamina na ng kulungan. Okay, yung freedom mo, before na nasa labas ka, maraming opportunities, nalilimit dahil nasa kulungan ka na. So, sending to prison, ang paglagay po sa kulungan ng isang taong kriminal na guilty sa ginawa niya is an example of incapacitation. Keyword at tatandaan, restricting, limiting the freedom of a person to do something in line with his or her capabilities, in line with his or her freedom. Tandaan niyo yan. Next, we have, next natin, rehabilitation. So, kahapon may nagtanong sa akin, Ma'am, rehab, sa bata lang po ba yan binibigay? No, it's not. At the same time, if kahit nga adult nabibigyan ng rehabilitation, sabi dito sa rehabilitation, the basis of a rehabilitative approach was in the belief that something positive should be accomplished during the period of incarceration of an individual. So, pag sinabi nating rehabilitation, the goal is, yes, naglagay tayo ng tao sa kulungan, mali. Nilagay natin yung tao sa kulungan. What is the purpose? So, dapat magiging positive daw tayo doon in line with that. So, dapat merong magbabago. Hindi yung kabit, charot. Hindi yung kinakasama mo yung magbabago. Sa mismong taong nakulong. Dapat, pag maglagay tayo ng guilty sa kulungan, mali na. Maglagay tayo ng tao which is found guilty sa kulungan, dapat ang ating thought is dapat baguhin natin siya. So dito, mula galing sa community, hindi po siya like a good citizen. Paglabas niya, pagbalik niya, dapat ma-change yung behavior niya. So that is rehabilitation. So ano bang meron sa rehabilitation? You are going to, kaya tinawag siya na rehab. The point is you are going to change the behavior. Hindi lamang natin ipapasok sa kulungan para malimit, ma-incapacitate, but meron tayong dapat gawin na support para magbago siya. Change the behavior of the PDL. PDL na yung dapat babanggitin natin ngayon na, which is the person deprived with liberty. Bakit babaguhin natin yung behavior niya, ma'am? Para pagbalik niya, nakalabas siya, natapos sa serving niya sa kulungan, magiging siya, a good citizen within our community. Hindi na siya uulit gagawa pa. So, we have different rehabilitation program inside the prison. Ay, may example natin, we have educational. Yung pagpapaaralin natin yung tao sa loob mismo ng kulungan. Meron yun. I know, alam niyo din yan. We have also the vocational training. Yung mga vocational training which is ito yung align with the TESDA, yung mas mapapadali yung pagkatuto mo in line yung mga skills, yung paglabas mo, hindi ka mahirapan maghanap ng trabaho. Mas mapapadali yun. Which is, meron din tayong tinatawag na counseling. Pwede natin lagay dito, the counseling. Ika-counsel ka. What if, even though you are a criminal, you suffered trauma. Hindi natin i-disregard na pag criminal na siya, bahala na mo dala sa kulungan. No, it's not. We have to consider them as a human also. Then, yung mga psychotherapy natin, yung mga treatment na binibigay natin, and at the same time, I'm having a class later. 30 minutes. Ha? Okay? So, yan po. Rehabilitation, tatandaan nyo lang, is the goal of putting a person into prison is dapat mabago natin sila. Yung, kumbaga, yung masamang paugali na meron sila, dapat merong changes po. Yan po ang rehabilitation. So, in connection with that, paano natin sila mababago? Through the rehabilitation program. We have yung mga educational, pagpapaaralin natin sila para matuto naman. We have the counseling, nabanggit natin ng mga vocational training in line with the skills. Ma'am, CFLM? Walang CFLM na klase dito. 3 month po tayo. So, next tayo. Kaya sinasabing rehabilitation is yung sinasabi nating change for the better. The better version of yourself. Charot. Pero totoo yun, ha? Change for the better. Tuara, nagpetla na. Change for the better version of yourself. Next, reintegration. Reintegration. Pag sabi ng naulit na. To some extent, the rehabilitation may also be related to the difficulty of reintegrating ex-offender back in the community after a long-term confinement. Pag sinabi natin reintegration, kumbaga, how are you going to help a PDL pag nakalabas na siya sa community? Ano bang gagawin mo sa loob ng kulungan para paglabas niya, kumbaga hindi siya madidisrespect dahil dati siyang, kumbaga yung tinatawag natin na may term kasi doon na ginagamit always sa mga bagong labas, yan, mga ex-convict, yung mga ganon. Diba, parang mayroong stigma na pag sila yung nag-apply sa trabaho, mahirap silang makahanap. So, in line with the reintegration and rehabilitation is being connected. Bakit man? Dahil sa program na binibigay ng rehabilitation, mas mapapadali ngayon ang reintegration mo. Bakit? Ano ba yung reintegration, ma'am? It means helping former what? Offender na mabalik sa dati niya nga community after niya ma-release sa prison. Pag sinabi natin become part, hindi lang part na ara ka lang nagbalik sa community. No, it's not. Pag sinabi natin helping, it's all about na magiging productive. Lagay natin dito, magiging productive sino? Yung mismong tinutukoy natin na former offender. Hindi lang basta-basta, nakalabas na yan, hahayaan na natin yan. It means dapat meron tayong nagawa sa loob ng kulungan, which is yung kanina, rehabilitation, which is magiging part yon, magiging foundation niya para maging isang good citizen sa pagbalik niya sa community. That is why rehabilitation is parang kambal sila ni reintegration. Because pag naging successful yung rehabilitation mo inside the prison, magiging successful din yung reintegration mo sa community. So, dapat magkapatid yan sila, magkadikit. So, that is why yung mabilis ka nang makapaghanap ng trabaho, yung may uuwian ka, yung hindi ka iluluk down ng ibang tao, that is a reintegration. Next, we have restoration, the last part of the goal of the punishment. So, ano bang meron natin sa restoration? The goal under this is to make the offender and the victim whole by imposing fines, restitution, and community service. So, hindi naman pala daw directly na pag nakagawa ng isang illegal act, yung isang tao, directly ikukulong. Meron din kasi tayong tinatawag na kumbaga settlement. Yung sinasabi na settlement. Yung pwede namang maayos. Meron kasing mga certain act which is illegal pero pwedeng maayos. Hindi directly na ikukulong agad. Yung sabot-sabot ba, yung parang areglo na tinatawag, kumbaga. So, anong nangyayari dito? You are going, pag sinabing from restore, you are restoring something. Ano ba yung nare-restore natin dito? Yung relationship between the offender and the victim. Kumbaga, magkakaroon ngayon ng areglo, which is nabanggit dito, pwede na lang pagmultahin para hindi makukulong, o magkakaroon na lamang ng tinatawag natin na community. Oh my God, na-close ang aking. Okay, balik tayo. Maku-close na hinoon. Sana yun? Pag sinabi nating restoration, okay, sa 6 na viewer, sana ba yun? Standby kayo dyan. Yan. Okay, pag sinabi nating restore, you are restoring something, which is the relationship. Yung ilagay natin dito, yung relationship na tinatawag. So, hindi na ako magsusulat. Parang it requires na i-save ko pa talaga yung copy. Wait lang po for a moment. Hi sa 8 na nandito. Thank you po sa pag-follow. I'm having a video recorded discussion para sa aking student. Kasi medyo behind kami kasi nga napunta nga ako sa Baguio. So, ano ito? Kumbaga, initiative na gagawin ko para hindi po talaga sila ma-zero sa aking examination. So, pag sinabi nating restoration lang you are restoring the relationship. Relationship ng hindi yung relationship mo sa imong amiga kagmigo ha. Relationship between the offender and the victim. Kasi hindi naman po lahat directly punishment lalagay sa kulungan. That is why meron tayong fines and community service. Eto, mafo-fall lang ito sa mga minor offenses. Hindi po ito pwede doon sa mga natin, yung mga tinatawag natin na hindi na mga minor offenses. Kasi hindi pwede, like pinatay mo isang tao tapos pagmumultahin mo lang. No, it's not. Community service, hindi na po. So, minor offenses, pwede natin makonsider nito. We have yung mga violation under the municipal order, yung mga ganun, nagsigarilyo ka, yung mga ganun, you offend someone, yan. So, I hope you understand so that dyan tayo mag-stop sa ating goals in line with the punishment. We have the sentencing, punishment. So, na-discuss natin class, the punishment, sentencing, and rehabilitation. So, I hope dapat pagtuunan nyo ng pansin what is penology. From the word itself, penal, or it means penal, it refers to the study, study of punishment. Keyword. Code of Hammurabi under the King of Hammurabi. Ito yung written law set before na pag once you did something to someone, the punishment should be equal. So, nare-review tayo. So, tandaan niyo din yung 20 na mga example ng ating recorded punishment recorded in history. Next, we have yung 6 natin. Tandaan kung ano bang goal ng punishment. We have number 1, retribution. Ano bang retribution? Keyword. Pwede na mag-law. Hindi pwede mag-law. Kasi sinabi natin retribution, wala tayong pera. Retribution, lex talionis, kung anong ginawa sa'yo, equal punishment. Number 2, we have the deterrence. You are what? Discouraging someone to commit further crimes in the future. We have 2 types of deterrence, the specific and general. Number 3, incapacitation. Keyword, pag incapacitation, you are limiting, restricting the capability of a certain person to commit further crimes. Kumbaga yung capacity niya ba, yung ability, yung skills niya, ililimit mo. Paano yun? Ikukulong natin. In line with his or her freedom, malimit iya freedom. Number 4, we have the, parang na-skip man ito. Okay, number 4, we have the rehabilitation. Pag sinabing rehab, from the word itself, we are going to change the behavior of the PDL para magiging isa siyang law-abiding in the community. Next, magkakakambal ni rehab, the reintegration. Magiging productive ka paglabas mo after sa kulungan. Gamit yung mga educational training, vocational training na nagawa mo inside the prison. Next, restoration. Ito yung kung kaya pang ayusin natin. Hindi dyan sa jowa mo ha. Kung kaya pa nating ayusin yung relationship between the victim and the offender, dapat ayusin natin. Inani sa doon ta akong teacher. Uy. So, that's all. I will end the video recorded. I hope you understand. Pag meron kayong mga certain hindi naintindihan, you can ask through our GC. Comment po natin sa ating YouTube account. That's all for today. Thank you and God bless everyone. Thank you.